There is nothing in life a man can have that he doesn't have to compete for. Right. Nothing.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a sport.
No,
it just
I'm
has
not
to
even
be the
talking
competitive
about
nature. Right.
Yeah, I'm not even
the will to win.
Right, and I'm not even talking about sports with that statement. Yeah, it's great. Everybody knows you need to compete in sports. That's a normal thing, but you have to compete in life.
Right. You competed coming out the chute, bro. When you came out the blah.
Yeah, you had to win there.
Right.
Right, but for a girl, you got to compete for women nowadays.
You do.
Right, there's no way around it. You got to compete. It is what it is. How you ever want to chalk up that competition, you have to. It is there. Competition for jobs, competition for promotions, competitions for buying a house, making yourself marketable to be competitive for a different kind of interest rates.
It's all a competition.
Everything in life is a competition. Yo, it's your boy Chauncey.
And it's your favorite boyfriend, Uncle Wayne.
This is the WTF He Say podcast.
That's what's up.
What's up, huh?
What's good, bro?
Well, we having the time, huh?
Yeah, that's it, man. Getting it going, brother.
Yeah.
How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm good, man. Another night. I was hoping, this will get time and dated, but I was hoping that we had a different outcome in this AFC Championship game tonight. But unfortunately, it is what it is. The boys going to go for a three-peat.
Well, it means absolutely nothing to me, as I'm a Giants fan, and the playoffs don't even matter unless the Giants, the Knicks, or the Mets are involved. So these are the dead years.
The what?
Dead years.
Dead years. The reason why this is so funny to me is because you saying this shit with a straight face.
Yeah, it absolutely means nothing to me.
But Uncle Wayne, man, we on this subject of,
Before that, bro. You good? How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm good. Life is life, but we making it happen, man.
Okay. Well, I'm still thankful to be here with a reasonable portion of health and strength.
The old man, there you go.
And in my right mind, and thankful for the little bit that I got, which ain't much.
But it's enough.
But it's better than nothing.
And it's enough.
It's enough. We make it.
I feel you on that one, man. Sometimes we get caught up in what we don't have, right? Pay attention to what we're striving for, what we're trying to get to. And it takes a little time for us to appreciate what we do have. And that can be a little bit cumbersome, I guess is a good word for that.
Yeah. And you can get caught up in the have and have nots. In reality, you have everything. Most people have everything, because if you got your health and you're still here, you got another opportunity.
Yeah, that's the one thing about it, man. You always got another opportunity if we take hold of it. And that's in any aspect of life, whether it's work, relationships, parenthood, whatever it is, you got another opportunity.
And speaking of parenthood, man, let's talk a little bit about something that you and I are very obviously connected with fatherhood.
Oh, not only connected with, but passionate about.
Right, no doubt.
Right? I say this all the time, and I say it jokingly, but, kind of serious. I've messed up every relationship I've ever had in some form or fashion, right?
Every single one.
Every single one. And when I say relationship, I mean as whether it was being a son, being a friend, being a teammate, being a husband, being a boyfriend. I've done something along those lines to, have somebody look at me a certain way. It's happened because I'm only human, right? But the one thing when we talk about this fatherhood and being a parent, that's the one thing I make sure I do right every single time.
Now, I can appreciate what you're saying. The one thing I will say is that father, because none of this comes with a book.
No,
at least
not
a
at
book
all.
that's correct. And these books from these so-called professors, they'll tell you anything that sounds good. But I have learned that I've made a whole lot of mistakes, and not only made mistakes, question sometimes how I have parented. And when I say that, I mean especially with my son, because I parented. I had the opportunity to parent a son and a daughter, and I parented my son differently. And sometimes when I'm hard on him, that's the things that I had to sometimes question, like, did I go too far at times doing something, and then did I do not enough? Because there's a balance. But it's an uncanny way of trying to determine what that balance is, because they can severely screw something up, and that's a teachable moment. And then they could do something real small, and then it's such a small thing that can create a big blunder that I go hard on it. So it's never hey, you're gonna do this, I'm gonna handle it this way. That's
yeah. And I appreciate what you're saying, because it's 100% correct. But you do all of that with positive intentions, right?
Of course.
Everything you do, parent parent-wise with your kids is always with positive intentions and obviously with the intent for them to learn and become better individuals, right? Because our job as parents, especially as fathers, because that's really what we're talking about, not parents, but being a father, is to prepare our kids for life without us. That's ultimately what the responsibility is, for them to be productive members of society. So when I make the statement like I made earlier about messing up relationships versus my, one as a parent or as a father, I haven't done anything as a father without pure positive intentions, is what I mean. Okay, sometimes in those other relationships, I was selfish. That's what I'm saying. I made selfish decisions for myself and what was better for me in all those other examples that I gave.
I got you.
But I don't make those decisions as a father. So that's why I said, what I said, like I've done stuff in other relationships that made me maybe be questionable. But as a parent, as a father, I sacrificed myself. For example.
Right. It's a sacrificial relationship versus individual gain relationship.
Oh, correct. This is probably the only relationship, I wouldn't say the only, but definitely a relationship that you're going to constantly be giving to and receive nothing.
Right.
Right. You may receive, sometimes for us as parents, we'll keep saying parents, but as fathers, that what we get back from our kids is just a simple smile on their face. Right. Or them being able to do something that they want to do and they look over and wave at you, or they just call you and say, "Hey, Dad, thanks."
Well, I tell you what, I'm so glad I'm not getting no more of them damn homemade ties, because I about took that damn tie from school that Marcus made one time, but I choked him with it. No damn homemade tie. Get your mama of roses and everything else. Right. Then something I got to buy extra for your mama for you. No, but give me a little handmade card from the school. Nah, man, I don't want that, man. Crayons, half written names and everything else on it.
I feel you on that. I think that we talking about gifting and giving and getting. Fatherhood is the ultimate. I think Chris Rock said it the most time. Men are only loved on the condition that they provide.
Yeah.
Only women are dogs and children are loved unconditionally.
Dogs loved unconditionally?
People love dogs unconditionally. Yeah,
because they'll love a dog better than a human. Boy, I'm telling you right now, man, shit. I've met plenty of people. They will love a dog
to the end.
Be more concerned about what happens to a dog than a human being.
Yeah, I've seen it as well.
Yeah, man. That definitely
seen it as well. I think that, man.
Yeah, that's we can go into that for some. And well, your sons are becoming teenagers.
Yeah, I got one right on the cusp. He'll be his preteen right now, and he'll be turning 13 here in a few months, man.
Wow. And my son, he's a grown man now. Yeah, matter of fact, he was looking to purchase a house. So yeah, he's becoming real man. He's looking for real responsibilities.
That's
and
a
things.
big responsibility there. The good thing is he has a wonderful father in his corner that can definitely coach him through the purchase of a home.
That's right. His real estate agent is his father.
Oh, that's right. It's a shameless plug. If you're looking for any kind of real estate advice, or if you're looking to buy or sell a home, you can contact either one of us. We'd be more than happy to help you with the purchase of some property.
Definitely.
That is definitely. You can contact us, and we'll be more than glad to help you with that.
All right. So now, and you have a specific challenge because now you're a single father.
Correct.
You co-parent. Y'all are both actively involved in handling co-parent children. Correct. But there are some aspects. You are a single father. So what's kind of the dynamics with that? Because that's something I have no experience with.
Luckily, you don't, right?
Yeah. Thank God, because I don't know where them kids will be.
In the same place they are now, right? They still got two loving parents. The biggest adjustment is just obviously for my boys is making sure that they understand that regardless of what happened with me and their mother, that they still loved and cared for, right?
Correct.
So the biggest thing that I have for me navigating fatherhood is now I'm used to being 100% involved in everything that my kids have going on. And I still am, but the weeks and the time that they spend with their mom, unfortunately, I'm just not as involved because obviously they're at their mom's house. So that's an adjustment for me. And like I said, I'm not a part-time father or a weekend father. I'm an everyday dad, but now I had to adjust to how things are now. But being a single father as well, it's single father. I don't know how I feel about that term, though.
Well, I mean, it applies. I mean, you don't have you're not married. And again, it's this, it may be seem like I'm plugging for you or something like a shameless plug, what they call it. You don't have a significant other per se.
Correct.
So, you spending your own time with them, caring and being a role model and child rearing when it's, obviously being involved. So that is single.
Yeah, but sometimes that saying or that title can be interpreted as just a like
Alone.
It's
not alone.
Well, not only that, if you hear a woman say I'm a single mom, sometimes that's interpreted as I don't have parental help.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I said I don't know how I feel about that term because yes, I am a single man who is a father.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
Not necessarily a single father as if I don't have help, like their mom is not involved, and that's completely not the case.
I'm gonna pour you a little bit of this vibe, Black.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and hit the vibe. Brought to you by Vibe, right?
That's right.
Change the vibe, but yeah. So I'm not. I am a single man, but not a single father. If that makes any sense, by definition or term. Weird. I don't know.
And I'm on the other side of that. I'm, I guess, empty nester. Both of our kids are grown out of the home, so they're on their own adult journey, and so it's the other side. You got to find out who you are now as an individual after the children leave.
Well, you all are obviously being on that other side. That means you back to specifically more time for the missus as well.
You're right. You find who your individual selves are and who you are together once your children are gone. But and also all those life lessons that you try to teach your children, they come into real game now. They're real life now. They have to learn the many things I told our children as they were growing up. They're seeing it come to fruition. Like it ain't easy to operate a house. Not easy to navigate life. Whereas as a child, you didn't have to worry about that. At least they didn't. Now, unfortunately, some children do.
Yes.
Unfortunately, some children have to deal with grown people's issues as a child. So I don't want to neglect that. They were fortunate enough to have involved parents, to have those examples. Not every child is given that.
Yeah, and that brings me to a point, man. It wasn't until I was a father myself that I realized how much stuff goes on behind the scenes for my kid's life to run. So even that, every now and then I pick up the phone and give my dad a call like, hey man, Pops, appreciate everything you did. If you're watching this, Pops, appreciate everything you did.
No doubt.
Right? Because I know for a fact the things that I have to do behind the scenes for my kid's life to run appropriately. And there's no doubt that my dad wasn't doing the same thing.
Right. And you don't even know what is going on. You just know it's happening.
Right.
I have the opportunity to play a sport, to be here, to go to various field trips, whatever it is, go to family outings and things. But you don't know what it takes to make that happen.
I mean, an example of that, and this is a very small example, but every person can relate to this. On Christmas Eve when your kids go to sleep, and you stay up late at night wrapping presents so they can have the thrill of Santa Claus in the morning, right? They have no idea what you were specifically doing at night. They think you're going to sleep as well, and they're just waking up to Santa coming down the chimney or in the back door, whatever it is, depending on what your living situation is, to drop off presents. Right. And they think it's something else, but they don't realize what's going on behind the scenes for something like that to happen for them.
Now let me tell you how I knew, and I hate to ruin this for children if any child sees this. This is how I knew Santa Claus is bullshit. Okay. When I was a young kid, we lived Charles Wrangell housing in Manhattan.
Country, but I'm from New York.
Right, I'm country motherfucker, but I'm from New York. And it's right next to the Polo Grounds, and it's, apartment complexes. First of all, there's no chimney. Then I think it was 12-story buildings, if I can recall. It was a couple of years back. Each building is 12 stories. The only thing that he could have shot down was the incinerator. I know Santa wasn't coming down there. So I'm trying to put two and two together with the story that Santa comes to your house with the, with a sleigh. That's bullshit. So then, I played along with, yeah, the Santa Claus, but I really knew it wasn't no Santa Claus.
Yeah, but apparently Santa don't visit the projects.
Not like he would in a suburban area.
Yeah, exactly.
He just doesn't quite. But it's okay.
That's the difference, unfortunately.
Maybe he's scared to get robbed. He's giving the gifts away, but he still might get robbed up in there. I don't know.
Santa, what you got on that daggone sleigh for
Right,
me?
let me holler at that. Right. Or like Brody, put that shit back. We eating good tonight.
Brody don't pay for shit.
Right. Hit him with that.
That is true. But that was just a small example of things that go on behind your kid's back, behind the
But
screen.
the kids back like we sneaking around doing it.
I mean,
yeah. At some points,
man,
you are
you
sneaking
gotta
around
be
doing it.
sneaking behind these kids' back nowadays because these kids talk too much, and the advancement of social media and technology, they can't have access to too much stuff, right?
Right, and see, that's another issue. So in some aspects, it's in a race to give your kids the information that they need to know before they learn it in the wrong way. Like when I was coming up, you wanted to teach before television saw people kissing on TV, taught them how to kiss. You wanted to tell them what it was.
Yeah.
But see now, we get these kids them phones. They could just do and see whatever they want to see on that phone, or have whatever relationship they want on that phone. And you have to give them this information first. Like my wife and I, we said in the beginning, hey, we're gonna call, and it's however you parent your child is however you parent, but we're gonna tell our kids the names for their anatomy, what they really are, and be straight up with them about what sex is, so if they hear about it in school from their friends, there's no shock value. So that's you have to race before they learn it from a hip hop artist.
Well, see, and the problem with that too is, when is it appropriate time to have those conversations? When you're talking about racing to get to that conversation with your kids versus the environment that they're in, you don't want to introduce it too early, right? Well, it's like, when is that window for this? And these kids are different nowadays.
And you teach from the beginning. I'm gonna get on that too. Glad you brought that up.
Right. But kids are different nowadays. And then I think the biggest difference is realizing that even though your kids are so much like you, they are so different from you.
Yeah, but yes, man.
Without a doubt. But I'll use my oldest son as an example. He's in the 7th grade, and he hasn't had a girlfriend yet.
And so at 7th grade, man, I might have had girlfriends, broke up, got married, divorced a couple of times by seventh grade.
My son is in the 7th grade.
I'm talking about superstar girlfriends and non-superstar girls. I'm talking about local girlfriends and girls from TV. At least Rashad was married way back. We've been got married. I knew that was my wife.
But see, this is why I say the kids are so different, because in the 6th, I learned how to play an instrument because of a girl.
Oh, 6th grade.
Let me tell you this story, and she know exactly who she is if she ever watched this. All right,
girl, you know who you is.
So I'll tell you this, Wayne. I get my schedule in the 6th grade, Emerson Middle School. It had to be 96, maybe around there, right? I get my schedule.
I was graduating college in 96.
Your nephew was a young Thundercat in middle school, all right?
There you go.
But I get my schedule, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, band? I don't play no daggone instrument.
I know.
Why do they got me in band class?
Right.
So I'm like, I got to figure out how to get out of this class, right? I don't play an instrument. My parents can't afford an instrument anyway, so I'm
right, because that costs money.
Yeah, let me get out of this class. So I'm walking. It's like 5th period or 4th period, something like that. I'm walking. I push that door, push that band door open, and she was sitting on the front row with a flute. And I said,
and she probably been playing band and playing that flute since she was a little girl.
And Wayne, first thing I said to myself is, I got to figure out what instrument I'm about to play, because I ain't getting out of this class.
Right. Did you play the flute?
No.
Okay.
I played the trumpet.
Okay, I thought you went all the way.
And I couldn't be on that front way trying to play that dang. I needed.
Do you play it this way or this way?
I don't even know. I can't even remember, to be honest with you. I think the flute plays sideways.
One is like this.
That's the clarinet.
Okay, and then one.
Yeah. I think the flute plays sideways. You're right, but I needed a masculine instrument, right?
Oh, dang, you thought that was a little soft?
The flute definitely was.
Okay.
I mean, it was just. I couldn't
too much finger with your pinky up in there.
Yeah, I couldn't do with that.
Okay,
so I really wanted to play the drums, but my parents couldn't afford to get me the drums, right? So I was down to a used trumpet is what I got. And I played that trumpet all year in the 6th grade. only because of her.
I mean, did it work? Something work with it? I mean, did you get
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Me and her dated for a brief moment.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But
When your first girlfriend?
man, yeah.
Okay. So was she your first official girlfriend?
Oh, Lord. No, it was not my first official girlfriend.
And that's another thing, managing heartache and heartbreak as a parent with your teenage or preteen child.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, brother.
Too,
I mean, that's in itself a sensitive topic.
It is, but a necessary one.
Right. You're right. Definitely necessary.
And I think, and this is my personal opinion.
What's your personal opinion?
What is it to you?
Yeah.
It needs to happen. Kids need to experience that first heartbreak, being hurt. They need to experience that in their adolescence as teenagers. They need to know what it's like to really care about somebody, be in a relationship, and then it don't work out for whatever reason. Right?
Now, what age you think they should,
I would definitely say in high school. High school? Yeah, high school age. Middle school, high school age definitely should have. Now, you can't control that experience. You can't control whether it happens to you
as
or
a parent, you can't.
And even as a teenager, you can't control.
Well, I'm gonna have to pour a little bit more in my cup for the girl that broke my heart in high school. I'm gonna have to put a little more in here just for her. Yeah, that's just for her.
Pour mine too.
All right, we're finished.
For the one who broke my heart in high school.
Oh, we got you.
Man, I got a story about that.
Got a story to tell.
Yeah, I don't know if it's appropriate to
now,
tell.
We're going to tell that on the next show. We're going to tell that on another show. We're going to give it to him now.
Yeah. That's, oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to call and I'll have to send a few disclaimers out and ask for permission to tell these stories.
Well, I'm going to have to do like my man Luther Vandross would say, it's over now. It's over now.
It's definitely over now. But
I want.
You know what would be great?
What's great, bro?
Is if we could somehow get them two as guests on the show to tell.
No guests. I don't want you to see you.
No. But they ain't got to be seen. They can just phone call in just to tell their side, because we gonna tell our side, right?
I ain't saying no more.
I mean, I feel you,
but to protect the names of the innocent.
God,
yeah, protect the names of the innocent, and we may change names. You know how they do the little disclaimer at the beginning of the story. The names have been changed, and I'll do that.
But I'm just saying, you talk about from the one who for how old were you?
Too young.
Okay, I'm just simply saying, mine's would have been over 25 years has happened for me. Probably more than that if I actually
sat down. Whole life has happened.
Right. Yeah, so to tell their side of the story.
That's even if they remember it. Because see, sometimes, here you go, your experience is not their experience.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
And it's, you go, she could have been your heartbreak, right? And then some whole other female could say, Chauncey broke my heart. You know what I'm saying? He about killed me. And you didn't even know.
Nah, I know.
Because as teenagers now, we self-absorbed. We very self-absorbed as a teenager.
I was the worst.
Yeah. Well, I had to been a close second if you saying you was the worst.
Just self-absorbed. You know, I had everything going for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So, yeah, you're 100% right in that aspect. Only reason why I brought that up, I don't even know if we can get into contact with them two ladies, if it's even possible.
No.
But the only reason why I brought that up is because it'd be good.
I'm hating a little bit.
It'd be good to just hear their side of the story. Right? They might not even remember. Mine does. Just to,
you sure?
100% positive she remembers.
Well, I don't even know. Mine do. So
but just to tell your side of the story on how this happened, you know, or how it played out for you. And no judgment. Judgment, because we was young kids at that time trying to figure out life. And, you know, the one thing that I regret the most, bringing this situation up just to make it full circle on what we're discussing, is that I wasn't comfortable enough to have that conversation with my father. Right? And it wasn't that he did anything wrong.
Right.
He just never talked to me about that kind of stuff. The only financial advice I got from my dad when I was young, when I opened up my first bank account, is my man said, just because you got checks don't mean you got money.
Right. That's a whole nother show. We're gonna get into that.
Right.
We can still bring that in.
No, 100%. Because it's the fatherhood portion,
it's
right?
Fatherhood.
16 years old, I'm like, okay. Didn't register to me now. But as a grown man, it makes 100% sense. Don't write a check that your ass can't cash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that makes sense now.
On so many levels.
Right, on so many levels.
But
But at that time, I didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And then the only other relationship advice my dad ever gave me was, don't be having sex.
Don't be having
sex.
And come on, man. That's basically saying go ahead and do it.
Right. So because that's the foundation that he laid for our relationship in those aspects, I was never comfortable enough with him to discuss any of that stuff.
Okay. Now, I've had...
And no shot, Pop. No shot. I love it.
Yeah, no shot, man. I've had the greatest example when it comes to a father, but we didn't have those current conversations.
Correct.
His guidance was do the right thing. He led by example. He was very nurturing for a man. You can take me, you could take all of his biological children, you could take his grandchildren, and they can all tell the same stories, but he wasn't as what we talked about before. He was modern day
father, right?
Involved. Like, he didn't know my friends. He didn't know my circle like I knew my children's circle. I was, not that a parent wasn't, and I changed the word, I forgot, and it'll come back to me, that you're involved. He was hands-on.
Yeah.
But I would like to say hands-in, versus, there is a difference, but nothing wrong with hands-on. But hands-in is, to me, knowing who your child's with, who their parents are, what that kid does, what circle that kid is in. And that's part of what our profession once was together. Now it's still your profession, but knowing what's going on and what the dangers are in society. So it's sort of a protective issue too.
Well, and that's 100% true. Yeah. So this is weird because my youngest son yesterday had what they call now is, when we were young, we used to just go to our friend's house, right?
You just go over there.
Yeah. Now they're called play dates.
Right.
Weird. So my son had a play date yesterday with one of his friends who he used to go to school with since he changed schools, but they're still friends. They talk every day on FaceTime.
Now this is a play date. Now this is
no.
Girlfriend?
It's his friend is a boy, right? They friends.
And hold on, now, is this something you need to tell me?
Tell you about what? Man, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. Drink. Don't think.
No, I didn't say nothing. I just asked. It's something you need to tell me, dog.
Yeah, right. Whatever.
Okay, all right. Let's just say it.
I should.
Yeah, don't jump on me on camera, bro.
I'm just saying, man. No shot, but
Yeah, I mean, shit.
No. Okay. That's what they call nowadays. Nonetheless, what I was saying is, with his friend.
Play dates was, you see all the bikes lined up in somebody's yard back in the day.
Well, it's the same thing now. But
okay.
Only difference is parents is involved now.
Parents
are involved now.
All right.
So I'm over here and I'm having a conversation with obviously with the parents, and we're talking about helicopter parenting and how we're involved now in everything our kids did versus when we were kids. On Saturday, I'd wake up, eat my cereal, watch my cartoons. I'm outside till the street lights come on.
Right.
Parents had no idea where I was.
It was just, the guidance was do the right thing.
Yeah.
Make sure you ain't getting in no trouble. Or I may know who the kids are who get in trouble.
Neighborhood.
Right.
But you was just gone all day. You ain't come back.
We don't even know the neighbor.
You got thirsty. You turned the hose on.
Right. Bust a fire hydrant if that's where you grew up at. Right.
But that's what we did. My kids, absolutely not. There's no way I'm letting my kids go outside and be gone all day.
You can't.
It ain't happening.
Right.
Not
that those things weren't going on. Those predators weren't out there in the streets then. It's just social media and the information has changed. The age of information has changed.
I say this all the time. My job has ruined me too. But the other point that I was getting to is now, as a parent, when my son has friends, I want to know their parents. Right. I want to know what they about too. Because if my son's talking about going over to hang out at your house, I need to know their parents. How do they parent their kids? What kind of stuff do they allow their kids to do before I allow my son to be involved in that? Right. And it's so many. And if I am on the border or on the fence about it, then I'm going to be there. And I hate to say it, but I'm just that parent. And it's unfortunate. If I can't come, y'all can't neither.
And see, now, he go, this is where, and you haven't gotten to this stage yet. And I've been able to go through that. Not that I was a perfect parent, not that my children were perfect, but they ultimately get to a point where they have to make certain choices. And I know that, I know for sure my son has been around
Alcohol and drugs.
Alcohol, drugs, and guns.
And women.
So you have to make a choice at some point, how far along you're going to go with it and when it's time to back off.
Correct.
You know, and then sometimes you can go in too deep and it can cost you. And sometimes it can cost you a lot. So at some point, all of the child rearing and the nurturing, they have to make a choice. And they're going to make some mistakes. They're going to make some mistakes.
And that's the thing, man, is...
Hopefully it won't cost them their life.
Correct. That's the one thing we don't want it to be cost them is the greatest...
Yeah, greatest cost you can pay.
Right. The most expensive cost you can ever bear. And so for me, we got to remember that they got to be teachable moments for our kids. We have to remember that.
Right.
And we have to discipline them appropriately. Right. We can't go overboard and we can't come under either. But the problem is there's no handbook for this when we know, okay, this is over, this is under, this belongs here.
Right.
Right. It's instinctual.
Right. And that's what I was talking about. Sometimes that I go too hard.
Nah, I don't think so, because
you got to know when to pull the trigger.
Right. But I think that if you have the purest intentions for your kids, like honestly, if you have the purest intentions for your kids, you're not going to go under or over. It's going to be exactly what it is. Because honestly, I honestly believe that God gives you everything you need for every situation when you're dealing with your children. Right? So however you discipline them, whatever you do is exactly what they needed at that time.
Right. Because I could think of two instances where I can't necessarily even recall the incidents. And one, I do remember the incident, but where I took Marcus outside. You know, we've had a lot of conversations alone, but one, it was outside in my yard, and I cussed his ass out hard. You know, because he needed it for whatever he had did at the time. And I know my neighbors was like, right. And it was at night. It was just him and I out there. That's all I saw. But I know if they were peeking out their window, they was like, my God, I didn't think he was going to go in like that on him. But I didn't want to have that in my house, that conversation in my house, because I didn't want the response that my wife would have given, because she would have been a little unsettled.
Yeah, she'd been ready to save her baby.
Right. And that's another thing that my wife and I have had. And she learned to step back. I would do things when he was little, you know, and she was uncomfortable with it. But eventually she saw where I needed to have that conversation or that type of parenting with him, because she was like, okay, well, I got to step back and allow you to do what you need to do, because you're trying to mold him into a man. And sometimes it takes hard conversations.
Yeah, and part of that too is if you appreciate the man I am, then you appreciate the man I'm trying to create.
Correct. You know, and it's not because we're perfect. It's because we know sometimes what can happen. You're foreseeing. It's foreshadowing, trying to keep them from getting into that.
100%,
especially men.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, but and on the flip side to that too, man, is also instilling the competitive gene in your son. Right. The competitive nature that is required to be a man.
Right.
There is nothing in life a man can have that he doesn't have to compete for. Right. Nothing.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a sport.
No,
it just
I'm
has
not
to
even
be the
talking
competitive
about
nature. Right.
Yeah, I'm not even
the will to win.
Right. And I'm not even talking about sports with that statement. Yeah, it's great. Everybody knows you need to compete in sports. That's a normal thing. But you have to compete in life.
Right. You competed coming out the chute, bro. When you came out the blah.
Yeah, you had to win there.
Right.
But for a girl, you got to compete for women nowadays.
You do.
Right? There's no way around it. You got to compete. It is what it is. How you ever want to chalk up that competition, you have to. It is there. Competition for jobs, competition for promotions, competitions for buying a house, making yourself marketable to be competitive for different kind of interest rates.
It's all a competition.
Everything in life is a competition.
And
if you don't realize, I mean to interrupt you, Uncle, but if you don't realize that quickly and learn how to deal with being competitive and not shut down when things don't go your way, when you lose, because you're going to lose.
You're going to lose, bro.
There's no escape in life without a loss.
Right.
At all. So you got to learn how to navigate that. Our job as parents is to teach our kids how to navigate life when they lose. Let them fall down and get dust up. You got to have it.
Right.
But how we going to bounce back from this? What we going to do? What do we learn
from that?
And what are we going to do about it?
Right. And so, and a couple of things. My son would fall. My daughter would fall. My daughter wouldn't fall necessarily physically. And I'll get to that. When he would fall, because he was a physical kid, I tell him, don't pet him up. Let him get up, but let him cry. Let him get it out. Let him cry. It is pain. Cry, scream out. But then just get back up, dust yourself off, like you said, and then figure it out. You know, that pain is going to go away for after a period of time, and you move on.
That's right.
But you have to let it out. It's painful, and that's life. You got to keep getting back up. You know, you got to keep getting back up.
And I had a thing with my boys, and even the boys that I coached in football. I don't care if you cry, but don't be out here boohoo crying. That was my thing. It's okay to cry. You hurt something bother you, you emotional. It's okay to cry. Let them tears flow down your face. You can cry and you can be emotional, but we're not going to boohoo cry for attention.
Right. And, you know, I've personally, you know, as a man, who fallen down several times throughout life. And as a youth, my dad would say, hey, man, you know, I'm not going to judge you at your lowest point, because you're going to fall down. I'm not going to judge you while you're down. Nah. I'm going to judge you if you don't get back up. That's the key. You got to keep getting back up.
Judge you on your response.
Right.
That's it.
In anything, you know. So sometimes you're going to back yourself in a corner by your own behavior. But you still got to bounce back. You got to be able to bounce back.
There's no escaping life without falling down, man.
No.
I had an old... when I first started at my current employee and going through training and whatnot, I had an old dude who was retired from the Army. And he used to say this all the time. Hey, man, just figure it out. But it doesn't matter because there's no escaping life alive.
Right.
All right? And old Ed Barton, I'll never forget it. Like, there's no escaping life. The first time I heard that, I'm 21 years old. No escaping life alive. Right. You know, caveat to that point is there's no escaping life without catching L's.
No, you gonna lose, man. I don't care what it is. One thing you brought up a little bit earlier was competition for anything.
Yeah, everything.
And that's one thing I told my son about in dating. You know, there's competition. My daughter too. There's competition. If somebody wanted to date you, there's competition for it. And when I met my wife in college, there were guys who tried to say something. You know, they saw that thing thanging back there.
That thing thanging?
Right. They wanted to holler. You know. Yeah, let me get a little drink of that.
To the thing thanging. Oh, Lord, we might need to slow down.
Oh, you got to stop. Why to stop? So it was my job to fend off competitors.
Yeah, but how do you fend off competitors?
But you got to be genuine,
right?
You gotta, I ain't perfect, but genuine.
But the number one way you fend off competition is just by taking care of your business, right? Providing what you're supposed to provide for whatever it is you're competing against.
Right.
Yesterday, when I was at this play date, I was having a conversation, and they were telling me about a story she's seen somewhere on the internet about a dude woke up. He has a girlfriend, and he woke up one day and he created a profile for her on a dating app or something. Whether it was a dating
profile,
the dude created a profile for his girlfriend. All right, this is something she's seen on the internet, and she got over 4,000 likes and messages in a 24-hour period.
She wasn't showing hold on. He created a profile for his girlfriend. Okay, and it was no titties and ass showing on.
No.
Us. Okay, all right.
And she got over 4,000 likes. 4,000 likes.
Okay.
And messages in a 24-hour period. What you think he was competing with?
Yeah, every single last one of them.
Exactly.
Whether they were eligible or not.
Right.
Right. That's competition.
But that's the difference in what it is for men and women today, though. You know, men have to make yourself marketable.
You should be.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you really have to make yourself marketable.
You should be.
And it takes men longer to become marketable than it does women.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I would say that.
That's just my opinion.
No, I would agree with that.
This is definitely an opinionated statement because, unfortunately, the world that we live in, women do not have to come to the table with as much resources as men to be marketable.
That's real sexist to say now.
No, it's not. It's not, because
why
a guy will go, a marketable guy who has a prestigious job or just makes a good enough, salary.
He still could be lame though.
He can be lame, but he will go and accept a woman with no employment as long as she has the things that he likes, whether it's physically attractive and, providing him with what he needs.
Okay, gotcha.
A well-off woman will not do the same for a guy. A woman who's doing well in her career in her life is not taking the dude working at McDonald's.
Generally.
Yeah, typically.
Generally, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it takes men longer to develop the resources that are needed to be competitive for women.
All right, gotcha.
Versus women are, innately just kind of more competitive at a younger age than guys are. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense. And that's no slight. It's just the world we live in.
Mm-hmm. Guess what they're offering makes them more competitive.
Yeah.
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 Or the potential of what you're offering makes them more competitive.
Yeah, but see, most young ladies aren't, and I know this is going off topic of what we were originally discussing. Is, the average 21-year-old man and 21-year-old woman, they don't have the same things, right? The resources that are 21, what you had at 21 versus what you have at 35 to provide to a relationship.
But hold on. Here you go. You haven't reached that stage yet, I'll say, of the parenting. Because I've taught my son and told him, hey, man, when it comes to competition, especially in college, these young ladies can have the opportunity to be vetted by men with jobs, men with careers.
Correct.
So, and you have to fend them off too.
Correct.
How do you fend them off? Is with both the most precious resource that you have.
Gift of gab.
Nah. Time. It's comes like you said before, that 80-20.
Yeah.
Now, some chick's gonna fall for it. She's 22. Dude could buy her a bag. Dude can do it. He's driving this car, that car.
Stuff that you just ain't got because you ain't got to that
Stuff
point.
You ain't got. But, if you're a smart young lady, you probably want to get with an individual that you can build with versus this individual that already has it and thinks he's gonna father you.
I agree.
If he's gonna father you,
but the problem is when you're the young man on campus with no car, right?
Yeah.
And my man's is pulling up in the BMW.
It's a little tough to fend that off.
You just on the wrong side of this competition, son. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unless the young lady.
We're not talking about what the young lady wants. We're talking about from the men's perspective. That's it. Just from the man's perspective. You are competing for this young lady. Now, granted, she's going to decide what she wants. Right.
But that's her decision.
Right, 100%. But look what you're competing against.
You throw salt in this game, though.
No, you don't do that.
Yes,
That's the man code, dog. You don't do that. Come on, bro. We don't do that.
If you're competing against me and you in that situation and you have it, you had the career. I'm the young man trying to get my career going. I'm in college, living off financial aid and my mom, whatever she could send me. I'm throwing salt in that old guy's game. Fuck that. This dude here, man.
What you throwing? What kind of salt you throwing? Let's go down this road.
Hell, if I got the lie on him, he married.
Oh my God.
He got a girlfriend. I'm not gonna allow him to knock me off. If this is just something we did, a little smash and dash program, okay, fine. But if this is somebody that you're really serious about, then no, man, I'm throwing salt in this game.
We're going to put a link in the description to reference the smash and dash. We're going to put a link in the description so you guys can see that. So it'll make more sense.
Smash and dash program.
Smash and dash package.
Signed up for.
God, dog. But I mean, dog, you can't. But also, you can't be mad at him for utilizing his resources to because he was once the dude who was he was a young man on campus who was getting
right. But also, I think it's predatory. I'm gonna throw all in. I mean, you too old to be out here trying to swing some little 22-year-old, bro. You too old out here. I'm throwing all kind of salt in this game. I'm sorry, it's a dirty game out here, bro. Here you go. As I was once told, by Leon Montgomery. There's gonna come a time where we're gonna disagree. Okay, I've got you together for you to become a man. So I took what he said like a lion. You get a lion, they raise their lion sons to a point. Then it becomes a time to separate you from the pride. You got to go out and find your own. So when we disagree, I got to step away, and then I can't just try to continuously combat with you. I got to eventually get behind you and support what you're doing, because now you're a man and you're going your own way, and that means I got to push you out the pride. Same thing, you know. That's what lions do. That's what men should do.
I agree, but what that got to do with hating?
I'm throwing salt in your game, bro, because I'm out here trying to establish and grab my own pride. I can't have you out here
by any means necessary.
By any means necessary. I can't be having you up here stopping me from getting my shine.
No, if it was meant to be yours, it'll be yours. You ain't gotta hate.
No. I'm sorry. We throwing in everything. If I'm fighting, I'm eye gouging, biting. You know, just punching. I'm doing everything. Kicking in the nuts. I do everything. I'm grimy when it comes.
I'm glad you on my team, dog. God, yeah, dog. Listen to this. I'm glad I ain't never had to come to bats with Uncle Wayne.
Yeah, man. Now I ain't win every fight, but I'll be damned. We've been in the fight. If you got me now, one or two guys might have got me.
You know, you talking about. You bring up the subject about fight, and that's just funny too. Circling it back to fatherhood.
Oh yeah, fatherhood. I got you.
Circling back to fatherhood, man. Times are different now.
Yeah. Because my son, by the time he was 12, and I told him, I was like, man, I think he might have had one little fight. I was like, by the time I was 12, man, we done had multiple fights. Just fights. Either and most of them, we were friends right after the fight. But we fought.
My sons have not been in a fight yet, and they're 10 and 12.
Right. You know, and we teach our kids not to fight, which is a good thing. You know, we don't want them ability. Yeah.
But yes, it is a good thing. But it does concern me about how my kids are going to deal with confrontation. They haven't really been exposed to real confrontation.
No, because they live protected
them. Yeah, they live in a bubble, and I provide that bubble for them. And that was always the goal as a parent, to put your kids in a better position than what you were. Right. That's the goal as a parent. But my kids have never really been involved in real competition.
Confrontation.
Confrontation, not competition. Confrontation. And that for me is like, I'm concerned about how it's going to happen, because it's going to happen to him, but he's going to be older.
Right. But as long as they know the groundwork is set, that when these moments come, which they will, they'll be prepared.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I'm doing my best on what I can do with them. I just definitely concerned about how it's going to play out for them. Now, I take that back on play out for them. The one I'm really concerned about would be my oldest. He just doesn't have that, he a little more laid back. He not really with, starting stuff or whatever. If you mess with him, he'd be like, man, just leave me alone. Now, his little brother.
Yeah, he's a little more fire.
For lack of a better term, he with the shits.
Yeah, he was.
He with the shits.
I was blessed to raise a daughter and a son, and they're two different types of personalities, and a blessing, both, but just differently. Had to parent differently, but under the same roof with the same information
and the same rules.
Yeah, and the same rules. So for my daughter, I think it was a lot of shock value in how we parented,
Scared.
Or how I parented. Yes, versus my son, which he grew to accept and expect certain responses from me. But I think it played out well. Ultimately, they came out all right.
I think so. Right. I think so. I think you did well. They both got professional careers and taking care of themselves on their own. So you did, obviously what was needed for them.
Yeah, they're doing all right.
The unfortunate part is, even though kids are. Men and women are the same. Boys and girls are the same. You have to raise them a little bit different.
Yeah.
You got to raise boys a little bit different from girls. And boys have to learn real quick that, and I hate to say it this way, but the world don't care about you.
Both of them need to know that.
Well, they do. But somebody will come save a woman before they come save a man.
In this society, I don't know, man. They'll let everybody drown in this thing.
Well, they may. But as a man, ain't nobody coming to help you.
No, you
Ain't
definitely
nobody
not
coming
getting
to
help.
help you.
There's no saviors here.
And
You're
that's what
gonna
I
drown.
mean.
They'll rather
You
see
have
you
to
sink.
figure out how you're going to manage. Or when you're in a sticky situation and something comes up, how you going to get through it?
Right.
The only people that's going to come save you is going to be your parents.
Your parents. You can
Right.
always fall back home.
You always fall back on home. But even then it's going to come, the way your parents save you is going to be different than how they save your sister.
Yeah, stipulations.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because you're still a man.
Right.
Or you're still a woman. So there are stipulations in how we handle it.
Correct. But the world is just different for men than it is for women. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but the world is different for men than it is for women. And
that's a part of, I guess, the roles in which you want your children to understand, gender roles. You know, it's a little, the appearance is more difficult for a man to make it. So you have to go out there and get it.
Yeah, gotta hustle it up.
Not that women are supposed to just sit back and it come to them, because they have to work for it too.
They do. Life's not
you want to
easier
make
for
it
them.
you want to, as a parent, make it a little easier for both kids. But if you can't make it even better for your daughter, you tend to do that as a man.
Oh yeah, but don't misunderstand what we're saying, that life is easier for women.
No, this is not.
That's definitely not what I'm saying and what Uncle Wayne is saying. We're not saying life is easier for women than it is for men. I'm simply saying that as a man, no one is coming to save you.
No, nobody coming.
That's it. There's no way around that. No one's coming to save you. And the sooner you accept that, the easier it is to deal with, and the easier it is to make a plan for your life. It's just what it is. So Wayne, if you could, just looking back on, because you at the, I wouldn't say the end, but you just had the later part of parenthood or fatherhood than I am.
Well, the relationships are different. That's all it is.
Yeah, but
you're still parenting.
Yeah, you just had a later part of fatherhood than I am. What is one thing? Well, let's do it like this. One thing you wish you would have done different, and one thing you wish you would have done more of.
It's the same thing for me.
Okay.
I would have probably done a better job of religiously educating my children. Not that you need to join a religion. We went to church at times, but to say, my dad was, I'd say, the spiritual leader of the house. I didn't, I looked at spirituality as an individual thing versus this is what we do in the household, or attend church, or this church, or members of that church. So I think that's something I would have done differently and more of. Well, I gave them an idea of a spiritual base, but it wasn't like I grew them up in the church. I was more involved in the church specifically growing up. That I would do a little different.
Okay.
Just about everything else, I think I would have done the same. But mistakes and all, I think I would have done all the same.
Okay. We get the opportunity to look back on life at times, whether it's fatherhood, on your career, marriage, all relationships that you've been involved with. You get to look back on those, and I don't think people say I live life without regrets, right? And I believe that you should live life without regrets.
That's hard to do.
But I think it's impossible. Mm-hmm. I think you can't look over the span of your life and be like, you know what? I wish I would. You can never, if you can honestly say you lived your life and you can say, I wish I would have never done something, then I don't think you're being completely honest with yourself. Right? There is something in your life that you wish you would not have done.
Of course.
That's what I'm saying. And
I can't even name the amount of things I wish I did.
Just that right there means you have some regrets.
Yeah, you have some regrets for some of the things, choices that you made.
Yeah. I have plenty of regrets, but I don't live a regrettable life.
No, either. You can't. Yeah, I'm not going to wallow in that. If I did something and someone can say, "Oh, that's the guy that did so and so," so the fuck what?
Right.
That's how I'm looking at that. Oh, that's him from that. I'm good.
But we also, and this is the difference too for us, Wayne, is we grew up in an era without social media.
Yeah, now that I'm glad for.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm 100% glad
I did that. And
because
no social media.
Right. Imagine if some of the stuff that you did was preserved on the internet to be recalled.
Yeah,
with the click of a button.
Yeah, I'd probably be a meme. Yeah, I know some of the shit I did been a meme
Well, you know,
or as they say, what's the word they like to use? It gets played all the time. Like the video of the week. What
viral.
Viral. There you go. There you go. I've been on a couple of viral videos.
Well, you know, I say this jokingly, right? But it's a good thing that the camera phones wasn't a thing for me because
Oh,
I ain't gotta say it.
Yeah,
I ain't gotta say it.
I'm just saying, bro. I ain't need to know.
It'd still be pictures of me floating around. If I would have had a camera phone at 50, 40, 60, man, you know, the kind of stuff that I would have been sending would have been wild.
Yeah, I'm thankful that social media wasn't what it was like it is now. Then,
Yeah, it's just, you know, so I circle that back to say.
so you got to remember what I did.
Yeah, and then ask me if I remember because I don't. But
I might remember. But I ain't gonna tell you.
But I circle that back.
If you do,
to
I'm
say,
put a slant.
it gotta come with a slant.
with it.
I circle that back to say that, you know, our kids are just growing up in a different time where their embarrassing moments or things that could happen to them that can be preserved and recalled forever.
And that kind of goes into, I guess, parenting. And I didn't have to deal with, like with my daughter. I guess insecurity of like bullying.
Cyberbullying and stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah. So if a kid feels insecure about whatever they're going through, and that's something as a parent you have to deal with. You know, the insecurities of whatever your child is going through. That's tough, especially in the teenage years with identity, what crowd they're gonna fall in, because they have different. They group each other. About in middle school, you know, kids get grouped. You're the athletes. You're the preppy, or you're the nerds. You know, or you're the unidentified.
Yeah, or the little hippie kids, or the, you know, back in my day we used to call them the devil worshippers.
Right.
It was a section of kids. Yeah, the gothic kids. I don't know if they really worshiped the devil, but that's what they were considered. They shopped at Spencer's and wore all black clothing and listened to that heavy metal stuff.
Right.
It was the devil worshipers.
The Gothics or the devil worshipers. It was separate groups, but yeah, they kind of lumped them into one thing.
Yeah. And it's crazy because
or skaters.
Yeah, we had them too. Skaters too. All right.
Yeah.
One of my closest friends growing up. I ain't gonna call his name or anything, but when I first met him, he's a black dude, but he went to a white school. Man, when I first met him, he had his hair dyed blonde.
Cisco looking at this motherfucker.
Right. We laugh about it to this day.
Now he had to die because of Cisco. He thought he was Drew.
No. Cisco's joint was silver.
No, he had it blonde at one point.
I don't remember blonde. I remember he had the silver on the Unleash the Dragon.
No. When he first came out in '96 with the Tell Me joint, it was blonde.
Okay, no. It was a little bit later than that. So it was.
Now I will tell you this: that Tell Me, bruh, it created some problems back in the day in '96.
I just was listening to that on the playlist. Hey man, I had it's just, I know this is a little off topic, but I had a playlist today I just created. The New Jack Swing. You remember that era? The New Jack Swing era?
I created that era, man. I don't know what you even talking about, bro.
I knew you was going to say that.
I created New Jack Swing.
I knew you was going to say
that was me.
What's the first song you think of from that era?
Oh, my goodness.
The first one for me is the Boys to Men joint. Boys to Men is back again. You know what I'm talking about?
Definitely Motown Philly.
Yeah, Motown Philly. A little bit of that Heavy D.
Yeah, because he was.
I know this is fresh on my mind because I just created. He
was Teddy Riley a little bit. You know, no. Trust me, I know all these.
I know you do.
You know,
I know I can't fool with you when it comes to music.
But I think about like Bobby Brown, Keith Sweat, Johnny Kemp, Just Got Paid.
Yeah,
all that. Teddy Riley, all that stuff.
First movie you think of from that era when you talking about the New Jack Swing? For
New
me,
Jack City.
It's New Jack City. New Jack City.
And what my joint was.
If I was you, I'd be looking for the pimples on the booty.
Dreaming by Christopher Williams.
Kids nowadays, and my kids will probably say the same thing when they get older, is that they grew up in the perfect era. Life was great for them. And they'll not appreciate the era before them, and they won't like the era that they're raising their kids in.
That's about what it is.
It was just similar to us, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, except for I do appreciate the era before me. I realize I'm born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, right? really grew up in the early 2000s, you know, but I was young. I was lucky enough that I had young parents.
Right. So they played the
My
music.
mom had me and turned 21 2 days later.
Right.
Right. And my dad turned 22 a month later. So I remember going to pick my sister up from school, right? Ride with my dad. He had a white Grand Am with the black tinted, just got the windows tinted, extra black, had two 12-inch subs in the back, bumping NWA. Straight out of Compton, the crazy motherfucking name.
Ooh,
right?
Mercy. We don't get in that, but I was scared to death of Ice Cube because he was looking for me.
But I remember that. Now, my dad might not have, he want to admit that, and he definitely ain't going to want to admit that if my mom around. But I remember riding to school in the back.
And see, let me see, 2000 and when 50 Cent came out?
03, 02.
Okay, so let me see. I turned 20, 2000. I was born in 74.
25.
So I was still a young man, and 50 Cent, Marcus would tell me he remembered listening to Many Men as a little kid. He was born in 98.
Same story.
Right, the same story. He listened to 50 Cent music and T.I.
Yeah.
and all that. So he was like, I remember, Dad, we used to ride, listen to the what's the second album from T.I.? Trap Music?
Urban Legend.
No. Trap Music is the second one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that album.
Trap Music?
Yeah, I still love that album. That's my favorite. That's my favorite T album.
Mine is Urban Legend.
Just because he had, hey, let's get away. Let's get a room on the other side of town.
I remember that, Jay.
Right, and Rubber Band Man. That was my album. I gotta give him that.
Is Rubber Band Man on that?
Yes. Rubber Band Man is on the same album as. That's why I didn't think that was the same name. I want to say Trap Music. We had to fact check that.
We had to look.
Because that was the same album. Trust me, that album was my joint.
Yeah, but I know.
24s was on that album.
When that video came out for 24s, because this is back in the time where videos was still the thing. You had to have a video.
You had to have imagery
and
with
that video, I remember.
And see, that didn't do it for me.
This dude, T.I.?
I didn't buy in all the way in. I bought in when Rubber Band Man hit.
Yeah.
And then what's the Hey, Let's Get Away? What's the name of that song? Hey, baby, I was thinking of you. I'm trying to think of the name of that song.
I don't remember the name of the song, but I know the song.
Yeah. And then the next album,
I think it's just Let's Get Away.
Yeah, that was it. And then ultimately I liked the King album
album. I was
that was my
sophomore in college when that joint came out. 05.
Yeah, King.
Oh my God. And in case you forgot, I'm the king.
And T.I. is one of my top 10.
We gonna
have to do a show on that. We're gonna have to fight on that shit.
Bring the boxing gloves.
Yeah.
Because we gonna agree on a lot.
Yeah,
I think we are gonna agree on a lot. Because we got very, very similar tastes in music. But I know when we get to the top spot, it's just
You have a guest at the top spot. We'll mention that.
You got an artifact. But what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, but let's close out with our topic, man. And looks like we've discussed a whole lot of different things.
Yeah, man. So bottom line is, I think the message that I would like to send to anyone, if they even care to hear what I got to say when it comes to fatherhood, is always put your best foot forward with your kids, right? Because you don't know what they're going to remember. Some of this stuff that I called out, my dad probably doesn't even remember occurred. Like, he won't remember me in the back seat bobbing my head to NWA when I'm 2-3 years old, right? I might have been a little bit older than that, but he's not going to remember that. So we don't know what our kids are going to remember. We don't know what experiences that we provide to them that they will hold on to. And this thing don't come with no handbook.
No.
We just out here winging it and hoping that we're doing right, but we also are doing it with the purest intentions, right? I don't go in any opportunity or any situation with my kids with negative intentions or hoping something doesn't work out or just half stepping. It's like your man said, what? Ain't no half stepping.
I would like to just conclude with, as long as you're leading with love, even if you're not perfect,
no one is.
You're in the right place. You got to lead with love. The intentions have to be leading with love, even if what you're saying is not so lovely or doing is not so lovely. You have to lead with love. The intention and the place has to come from a spirit and place of love. That's how you can guide your children.
I agree with you, Unc. And with that being said, we appreciate you guys tuning in. If you tuned in to the whole time, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and look for more podcasts from Chauncey and Uncle Wayne. We appreciate it.
Thank you.